gathered at the Canaan Bonaccord multipurpose facility in hopes of gaining clarity on the Tobago Marine Parks Bill. The group had written to Chief Secretary Father Augustine seeking a meeting, but in response, the Chief Secretary indicated the request came too late, noting that a meeting had already been held on April 13th, where concerns were addressed. Despite this, the operators moved ahead, voicing their concerns about the proposed legislation.
Facility to maintain a standard operation on the reef. And if the reef is to be opened, we are saying from in the morning till in the night, maybe 10 o'clock or something like that, there are not enough operators to provide security. Look, simple things as a slipway. They talk about, oh, boats are not supposed to be pulled up in the back of Pigeon Point, which we actually use for generations. But no, you cannot put nothing in place for a boat to pull up safely on the shore.
They argue that some provisions of the bill, especially those related to penalties and fees, are excessively severe.
The proposed permit should cover most of the fees. There are mooring fees, there's a fee for the permit, a lot of duplicity. We need clarity on that.
Other concerns include details about zoning areas for jet skis and other motorized watercrafts, and parameters for enforcement and systems for data collection. In other news, as Trinidad and Tobago prepares for another rainy season, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Khadija Amin, says her ministry, along with the country's municipal corporations, is prepared for any eventuality.
Out of 14 municipal corporations have an intense program ahead to clear water courses and to prepare for an active rainy season, including purchasing bags, sand, for sandbags, preparing shelters, preparing our community emergency response teams with suitable equipment such as shovels, pumps, chainsaws, and other equipment to respond to community-related disasters.
Minister Amin said her ministry is working closely with the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure on a nationwide watercourse clearing exercise, with priority given to flood-prone areas such as the Caroni and South Oropouche River basins, as well as key retention ponds.
The Ministry of Agriculture is also working with the drains in the agriculture areas, the flood gates, and the pumps. So we are working hand in hand under the direction of the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar as Prime Minister to intensify preventative measures as well as to prepare ourselves to respond when the time comes.
Government agencies have been in preparation mode ahead of the official declaration of the 2026 rainy season, coordinating with municipal corporations to reduce the impact of flooding and other weather-related hazards. On May 1st, the government launched National Disaster Preparedness and Prevention Month, marking 31 days of activities aimed at readiness and risk reduction. The Cotton Tree Foundation marked its 21st annual charity golf tournament on Wednesday at the St. Andrews Golf Club in Mocha. Patron of the foundation, President Christine Kangaloo, was present as 72 players teed off in support of programs serving at-risk youth across Trinidad. Chairperson Alison Hamill-Smith says despite financial pressures, the foundation has expanded its reach, adding programs in 9 schools, a vacation camp for 85 children, and a self-development initiative for young persons entering the job market.
We continue with the reality of where we are, society, and ourselves as an NGO. And we have an understanding that we will continue, and we do what we can where we are with what we have. The reason we're able to continue is the community that we have, and you guys are all part of this community, even though you may not be aware of it. You're an important part of this community.
And that's what's making the news this morning. Well, joining us right now is Virmala Balkaran, the host of Trinidad and Tobago Today. Good morning, Virmala, my good friend.
Good morning, Carrie, my also good friend. How are you on this beautiful Thursday?
It is a beautiful Thursday. I'm great this week. Unlike last week, this week is racing by.
Yeah, and come into it on mornings now, it is so bright outside. So,
Right.
When I started the show getting here, it was very dark. I would come here and it's still, technically nighttime.
Yeah.
But it's so bright outside once I get here and I'm like, am I really late? No, it's just
right.
bright.
Once the birds are chirping and stuff like that, I mean, it creates a nice ambiance for when you arrive. The birds chirping and the sun just breaking through the clouds. And
Can I tell you something? Where I live, the birds chirp all the time. The roosters also crow all the time. Do you have that issue where you live? No.
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay.
But where I live, we do have a lot of frogs singing.
Oh, okay.
All night.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of roosters in our community who tend to, be going a relay at night. So they'll take turns and they'll have a call from one house to the next. And
I do not envy you because I would be having fried chicken, I'm telling you.
Imagine having a Zoom meeting or some sort of session online and people are hearing this in the background. It is quite hilarious. But, speaking of animals in general and just life and beings. Carrie, this morning I had a thought when I was driving to work. Every time you pass on the highway, you see so many animals dead on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's right.
And it says something to me that's really deep sometimes. I think about this. The reflection of society is how you treat your animals. And I think even if an animal is a stray, still, you need to express kindness. So express kindness to all beings.
It's a living being. It's a living being. And oftentimes, there are some people out there who are not nice to animals in general, so much less so for other human beings.
Yeah, so please this morning, just a note about kindness. Be kind to everyone, every being. Be kind to the people at your workplace. Be kind to, your family members, your friends. And if you haven't heard from someone today, reach out to them and ask them, hey, is everything okay?
Yeah,
something might be wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Well, also today, Carrie, it is Barrier Awareness Day, another day that tells us that we need to care a little bit more. And it basically reminds us that people with disabilities, they face barriers created by society and not their conditions. So that's also something I hope we start to, address a little more.
Address and give voice to, definitely.
Exactly. So there's so much more we can do. And also a very special good morning to all the people who use their voice and their platforms to advocate for people with disabilities.
Amazing.
All right, Carrie. Well, it is Tobago Thursday on our show, so we're looking forward to all the updates from the sister. I'll also link up with our next sister station.
Was that a hint right there?
No, not necessarily. I think I'm throwing you off, but it's the other one in the lineup, but I know you know who that is. So we'll talk soon, Carrie.
I do know. We will. Thanks so much, Virmala.
No problem. Bye.
All right, when we come back, the Trinidad and Tobago Today morning show gets going after this break.
Your stories, your communities, your country. TTT News is everywhere, on the ground, across Trinidad and Tobago, and on every smart device. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
I'm Jamila Bannister, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
Hi everybody, I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are the Duncans. Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
Well, once again, we're at summer's doorstep. The action is picking up with a variety of events that'll thrive alongside all of the popular attractions. Hello everyone, I'm Aidan St. Agath and welcome to Caribbean Passport TV.
All eyes will be on Antigua this summer for the 2026 Carnival celebrations, to which everyone is invited to feel the rhythm. With over 2 months of pre-events to warm things up, Antigua and Barbuda is event and activity driven. So if eco-adventure and marine life are among your passions, then Scooter Snorkeling is the tour company for you.
Barcelona drawing a game, not winning their first set of game. Worried, concerned.
Emotional damage is fun to see.
What a wonderful finish. Corner Zero! You see it? Come again, one more time.
Thursday, 7th May 2026. The time now, it is 6:11 a.m. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Virmala Balkaran and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today. Well, let's take a look at what's trending this morning. The Ministry of Works and Infrastructure is highlighting what it says are the key accomplishments over the past year, including road repairs, drainage works, and even maritime improvements. Now, according to the ministry, more than 22 community visits were conducted nationwide, while a $112 billion revitalization plan featuring 129 projects across 13 development nodes continues to advance. And officials are saying more than 2,000 road defects were repaired, over 900 tons of asphalt laid, and more than 80 infrastructure projects completed, including bridges, culverts, slope stabilization, and road rehabilitation works. And the ministry also says 187 watercourses were desilted to reduce flood risks, with more than 1,800 workers deployed for drainage, roadway, and also public space maintenance. And on the maritime side, the ministry reported improved port efficiency and increased container throughput along with the addition of the MV Blue Wave Harmony to strengthen the inter-island sea bridge between Trinidad and Tobago. And in other news, it is exam time, and the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago is sharing a few simple study tips with parents and guardians to help students stay focused and productive during the exam period. So here are those tips now. First, eliminate all distractions. Creating a quiet and focused study space can really help children concentrate better and get more done. Secondly, encourage regular breaks. Short breaks can help refresh the mind, boost energy levels, and even improve concentration. And third, limit your phone use during the study time. Social media, gaming, texting, and you know that endless scrolling that we like to do? Well, it can seriously affect your focus. If devices are not needed for revision, just put them away. Well, finally, current CNN chairman and CEO Mark Thompson has paid tribute to media pioneer Ted Turner, who has died at the age of 87. Turner launched CNN in 1980, creating the world's first 24-hour news channel and reshaping global television news. Thompson described him as the giant on whose shoulders we stand, calling him fearless, committed, and someone who trusted his own judgment. U.S. President Donald Trump also paid tribute, calling Turner one of the greats of broadcast history and praising his support for causes that he really believed in. CNN, which faced early skepticism and was once mocked as the chicken noodle network would go on to become a defining force in modern news media. Well, welcome to Tobago Thursday, where, as we told you before, we feature everything happening on the Sister Isle. Then we have a quick link up with Sweet 100.1 FM to see how they're doing. So you know what to do. Grab a cup of coffee and settle in. Trinidad and Tobago Today has begun. Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
What if possibility was only the beginning? Welcome to Limitless, a journey where ideas become action and action becomes impact. From breaking barriers and challenging misconceptions to designing with dignity and driving innovation with heart. This series explores how inclusion is moving from concept to community in Trinidad and Tobago. Across each episode, we meet the change makers and everyday leaders turning challenges into opportunity, building real solutions that change real lives, from possibility to impact. This is Limitless.
Since 1972, one sound has been living in the heart of Trinidad and Tobago, the longest running radio station in the nation.
We're your holiday soundtrack, whether it's on your day off, long drives, or house lives. We are always sweet.
This is music with meaning, music with memories.
Music that feels like home.
And it's not just the songs, it's the voices you trust, personalities you've grown with.
Laughter that sounds familiar.
This isn't just radio, it's tradition.
It's memories. It's part of who we are.
Sweet 100.1 FM, the rhythm of our identity, part of your family.
Always 100, guide you on your way. Sweet 100.
TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Welcome to Tobago Thursday on Trinidad and Tobago Today. Well, the tranquil waters of Pigeon Point and the Bucco Reef Marine Park are central to Tobago's identity, but recent events have cast a shadow over these iconic spaces. And following the tragic jet ski incident this past Easter that claimed the life of 7-year-old Angelica Jogi, the conversation around maritime safety and regulation has moved from a whisper to a roar. As the Tobago House of Assembly moves forward with the Tobago Marine Park Bill 2026, a new voice has emerged from within the industry itself. The Tobago Water and Trail Association has been formed not just as a response to crisis, but as a commitment to a new era of professionalism, accountability, and safety. While joining us now to discuss how the association plans to transform the management of our water and trail resources is TWTA President, Mr. Ricardo Alfred. Good morning, Mr. Alfred. Thank you for being here.
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
So, Mr. Alfred, you've mentioned that the TWTA was actually on the cusp of being formed just before the Easter tragedy. So, how did that heartbreaking event that happened, just during the Easter period, accelerate your mission, and what is the primary goal of the association today?
All right. So, good morning again. The association really, was formed. We did a name search on the 26th, I believe, of March. Because a group of the jet ski owners and the ATV owners, we were having some serious challenges, with the type of behavior that was taking place. So a group of us, a few business persons on the island, persons who are involved in the marine space, persons like that type of different maritime professionals, decided, what, we need to come together and form this group to really bring some level of policy as relates to what's going on in the past. So this was way before this incident ever happened. We want to offer some liability to our members, meaning that we would offer some sort of financial coverage should there be an incident. So we have a threshold, and after that threshold is reached, the owner is responsible should it be more than our threshold. So we want to be able to offer things like the trailers to the relevant authorities so that, because there will be some boat issue, right? Maybe the boat may not have gas and that type of thing, but at least the Coast Guard or police will have a vehicle that they could remove the rogue elements in. Currently, things like jet skis, and all vessels, you speak to things. One of the major parts in the regulations, it says that they must provide some evidence of financial responsibility. So this is where we want to have, where we can actually have some control. Once we are able to have some exclusiveness, we would therefore be able to control these issues as relates to the some form of regulation. Definitely. So once we have that, we could therefore control the regulation going forward and control the narrative. If they don't have it, if we have rogue members, we will report these people directly to the authorities and have their jet skis or whatever removed, because you can't operate if you don't have it.
Thank you for that, Mr. Alfred. I want to talk a little bit about the insurance premiums now. I know they range from, I think, $120 for the ATVs. And if I'm correct, is it $2,500 for the large reef boats?
So this will be based on the size of the vessel for the reef boat. For the jet skis, it's about, we want to offer things like about maybe $900 per jet ski. The ATVs will be $120. For those who have pirogues and that type of vessel, it's $500. And then for the larger reef boats, it would range between $25 and $3,500.
Okay, I understand. And now, beyond the insurance, now you're talking about the soft skills. You mentioned conflict resolution, also customer service. Now, why does the TWTA believe that training in things like anger management and even financial literacy is just as important as the technical maritime skills, Mr. Alfred?
So what you have to remember, I am a marine engineer by profession and also a maritime surveyor. I do a lot of work with these guys in the area. A lot of them come from homes where you have things like trauma, So, in conversation with them, I don't want to say it's the way that they talk or it's the way that they communicate. We just have to work with them in terms of how they will display that message or how they will have this further conversation with a client or a customer. The hustle activity is still in them, so it's just to have the further conversation. But it is people that I am accustomed to all the time. I am on the water every weekend, so me having this title now is I'm able to have that further relationship with them. I'm very I know all of them personally, so it's to have the conversation, and that's the advantage I will have in terms of dealing with them. It's to understand that where they come from, the homes, maybe there's some trauma as a child growing up. It's to really understand and bring, everybody on the same page and try to maintain this synergy going forward.
Now, Mr. Alfred, during that tragic period of the death of 7-year-old Angelica Jogi, the social media feedback and the public feedback basically agrees with the proposition of the association of that minimum age of 18, I believe, for jet ski operators and 16 for users. Now, in an industry that has often operated ad hoc, now how do you plan to enforce these age limits and ensure that every reef boat has a licensed captain on board at all times?
So, every year, these reef boats are supposed to be surveyed. I, as the surveyor, normally survey them. However, I deal with the seaworthiness of the vessel. In terms of this association, in which we now have to add a company element in, because we are going to be collecting fees, and first we are going to be providing some level of the coverage. They have to comply to certain rules. This really applies to the owners of these crafts, the owners of the jet skis, the owners of the reef boats, owners of the ATVs, and the food vendors. We deal directly with the owners. They will be held accountable. In terms of me maintaining what is happening there, I know. I as a surveyor, I know. I know who has the captain license. I know. If I see someone strange, I will ask the question and demand to see that license. My role as a surveyor is actually in the law. So, these are documents that have to be presented. If I'm not sure, we will pull that coverage, and you will not be able to operate. So, it's to have that level of commitment from the authorities or from the THA or the police or Coast Guard that, listen, you have someone that you could contact to verify these type of stuff. From my professional capacity, whereas these boats are privately owned, in terms of relaying information is kind of tough. But from another hat, I can.
Another critical issue and concern after that whole Pigeon Point incident was the encroachment of craft into bathing areas. So how is the TWTA working to define and mark specific rental areas, to ensure that swimmers and motorized crafts never cross paths again?
So, as a jet ski owner, we have decided to respect the boundaries and to stay out of the marine park, I know that the public is very angry. I know that there's a lot of concern. So we are staying out of the park completely. We will respect the wishes and stay out of the park completely. We will ply our trade elsewhere so that the public is able to have more trust, because they have to see some change. They have to see another behavior from the persons involved, So we will definitely stay out of the park, So there's no need. We won't be there, basically, in that marine park area. And when I say marine park, I mean the Boca Reef.
Mr. Alfred, you're also looking to partner with the Maritime Services Division for mandatory training. How soon do you expect all of this to roll out? And will the current operators be grounded until they receive the certification?
So what we are currently working on is having the conversation with the relevant authorities. There is a jet ski license for an instructor, and there's another part for a 2-week license where persons like yourself can have, if you come across on the island. It's all online. It's all free at the moment. So we want to make that mandatory. However, the authorities in the space will have to have the conversation in terms of making that mandatory. I can do it, of course, but if it is mandatory for all persons operating in space must have that license, there's another element of training where you have the Tobago Sea School, which is the only marine crew school in Tobago, can assist in providing such training and such certification, to the relevant person.
My final question for you this morning, Mr. Alfred. Public trust in jet ski and boat operations is currently at an all-time low, you'd agree. By this time next year, what do you want the public, both locals and even tourists, to feel when they see a TWTA certified operator at Pigeon Point or Storby?
So, again, persons want to see some level of impact, and that impact must come from the behavior of our members. Again, I want to really hold the owners responsible. There is a financial obligation. There is some serious consequences once they are part of this group, should they found to be rogue. I need the public to forgive and not to forget, of course. Our heart goes out to the family who would have endured such a tragedy. I mean, as a person who is also involved in the tourism industry, in terms of providing short-term accommodation, I understand the concerns, I understand the complaints that people would have, but it's to really build back that public trust. So I'm saying to the public, we would respect and stay out of the marine park area so that you guys can enjoy the reef. I would need persons to really back this group. We have to move to a company now because we are collecting fees and we are providing some level of liability. So I would want persons to remember the Water and Trails Company in terms of providing that coverage and liability. I mean, I know myself, I know the persons who are around me, and they are very serious persons. So it's to really have that exclusiveness as relates to anyone operating in the space must have this thing. We will from that perspective, we will do the groundwork. We will take care of all of the heavy lifting in terms of training. We can assist in providing again things like trailers and training to other persons or even to the authorities, in terms of what they should be looking for in terms of the boats, what they should be asking, the police as well, as relates to how to charge from a maritime perspective, the different maritime laws that they can use, and that type of thing. So, again, it's only public trust. That's what I can ask as the public is to not to forgive, but don't forget. And give us a chance to really make it right. And, I'm hoping that the authorities can have that MOU where we can have some kind of exclusiveness where we could actually include everybody, especially the food vendors. I don't want to leave out the food vendors. They are part of the group as well. Food poisoning, allergies, we want to provide that as well, ensure that the food is done properly, food badges, correct utensils, and that type of thing. So it's to really work with the public and the authorities,
Yeah.
But it could only be done by exclusiveness.
Mr. Alfred, I have to ask you this one last question before we go. Now, the THA is currently pushing forward with the Marine Park Bill to allow the stiffer penalties and better enforcement. But does the TWTA see this legislation as a challenge to the operations, or is it necessary, or a necessary partner, I would say, to the standards that you're trying to set?
So we welcome any help that comes into the space as relates to legislation. We welcome any piece of document that persons may or may not want to do. I would have reviewed the draft bill, I guess, and I would have sent it to the relevant attorneys for them to have a look at. I mean, I did a very detailed research on it, so I await more confirmation, and I await something. But we are prepared to work with the THA in terms of building out this type of legislation and also enforcing it as well. So
yes, all right.
We are willing to work with them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alfred, for spending the time with us this morning. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, brilliant. Thanks.
All right. The time now, 6:34 a.m. We take a short break. And when we come back, we talk all about dance in Tobago.
The time is now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now.
I need is one night. I wouldn't deaf on it. No, not that. Right now. All I need is one night. We're gonna have to splurge. All I need is one night. I wouldn't deaf on it.
This is the new day.
A new sound, a new style, a new style, a new class. Next 99.1 FM, the next level of radio.
Right now.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Your stories, your communities, your country. TTT News is everywhere, on the ground, across Trinidad and Tobago, and on every smart device. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
The Mother Church of the Anglican Diocese suffered significant damage during the earthquake of 2018. Efforts are underway to raise funds to restore this national heritage site. You are invited to make your donations with monthly deposits at any branch of the First Citizens Bank, account number 2696950, Marval Road Branch, in the name of the Incorporated Trustees of the Anglican Holy Trinity Cathedral Restoration.
There are a number of risk factors for heart disease, so a lot of attention has to be put towards preventive cardiology. What can we do to reduce the burden due to all these risk factors? Hypertension, diabetes, cholesterol, need to stop cigarette smoking, you gotta get people exercising.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Young people are constantly searching for positive outlets for expression. One local group is stepping up to the plate, literally. The Emperor's Dance Company is back with another installment of their high-energy, high-impact We Must Dance nationwide school tour. Starting May 11th, this all-male powerhouse is taking their message of more dancing, less violence to the youth. After a successful nationwide debut last year, they're expanding their reach, hitting 12 schools in Tobago before heading to Trinidad to inspire even more students through the power of hip-hop, dancehall, and African dance. Well, joining us to talk all about their mission this morning to instill confidence and curb violence through movement is the founder of Emperor's, Vanerick Cupid. Good morning, Vanerick. No scruffy.
We Must Dance. Good morning.
How are you?
I am great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Excited about all of this. Now, last year was your first time going nationwide with 10 schools, but you have significantly ramped things up now. It's 12 schools now, and also a visit, I understand, to the School for the Deaf. So what motivated the crew to expand the roster so aggressively this time around?
I would say the biggest motivation that we would have had was the outpour from students, from teachers, from different schools that would have seen some of the program, that would have seen some of the footage and stuff on social media, the little TikToks that we would have done, and how we would have engaged the schools. We often underestimate the power of word of mouth in today's society due to digital. And I think that the word of mouth aspect is what really made our program really spread throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, your theme for the tour is more dancing, less violence. I love that. So how have you seen dance act as a genuine deterrent to violence or conflict among the students that you've visited in the past?
So the great thing about dancing is that regardless of age, as a young person, you would have danced at some point. And we realize in this generation, especially in this digital era, that all of the students and them, or most of the students and them, would have known some TikTok trend. They would have known some trendy dance. And from the time the music came on, they would have shifted their focus from whatever they were doing, being on their phone, interacting with each other, to running on the dance floor to bust a move. And if we could have something as unique as dance that could demand that sort of attention, I think it's only fair that we use it to use it to our advantage to push a positive narrative and to stamp out something as negative as violence within schools.
So, as an all-male group, I know that you make it a point to spend extra time with the young men in these schools. Why is it so important for these students to see men using dance as a positive, disciplined form of expression?
The importance of that, it would have tied into our upbringing. When we were growing up, well, especially myself, in school, I didn't have anybody coming to me to tell me, hey, you know what? Dance could be more than what it is. Dance could be a way that you could deal with stress. Dance could be a way that you deal with conflict. Now that we are in this position, we feel it imperative to definitely be that person for them going forward, because if we could inspire or touch the life of just one young person, one young male, one young female, and push them on the right trajectory, we feel as emperors that we would have succeeded in our endeavors.
Now, tell me about the genres that you choose. I know it's a mix of hip-hop, dancehall, African dance. So why did you choose these genres to bridge that gap between education and entertainment?
I would say because of the more trendy appeal of those genres. Especially in the Caribbean, we live in a sort of Afrocentric kind of vibe. So we would use Afro, we would use hip-hop, we would use dancehall, we would use soca. We will use all of these different styles because this is what the young people are listening to. And if we are trying to connect with them, we have to connect with them. And I think the best way to do that is to get in front of it and actually guide them as to what this sort of music could be versus what social media might say it is, or different ways how to interpret different things. Because from the time we leave growing and the molding of our young people to social media, that is where we would lost them. So that is why we think it's important to use these different dance styles in more of a way to connect with them and guide them along the right path.
Now, starting Monday, Venerick, you'll be hitting schools, I think 4 schools per day in Tobago. That's a lot and an incredible amount of physical and emotional energy too. So how does the crew prepare for that kind of marathon schedule?
Last year really taught us so much, so much. And honestly, we are the group that we will literally know when it's going on. The amount of preparation and stuff that we could say that we're going through from the time the balls start rolling, it has been a different kind of monster, it'll be a different kind of beast. And that does let us know, hey, here's what, could we roll with the punches or not? But we always rise to the occasion because it's not just going to 4 different schools per day. It is the setting up, it is the breaking down, it is from getting from A to B, from Bonaccord to Speyside.
And we're seeing the schools on the screen now, Venerick. So I'm seeing all of them listed on the screen. So yes. I'm not too sure if you can see it, but that is a tremendous schedule.
Yes, and funny enough, we actually had to deny a couple other schools because of the demand in Tobago especially. And it is something, unfortunately, that we cannot, or at this point in time, we cannot commit more time to. However, 4 schools per day means little to no lunch breaks, little to no snack breaks, because we'll be on the move, on the go. But it's something that we know is 100% worth it. And we know that we don't want to leave any school behind on this tour.
You're also visiting a police youth club here in Trinidad and 4 schools also. So can you tell us what that itinerary looks like?
So the Trinidad leg will be a lot easier, and I'm happy to say that because, yeah, boy, it'll be a lot easier. The police youth club, I believe, is the Trin City Police Youth Club. They would have reached out to us via TikTok. I think one of the persons that works with the police youth club literally DM'd us and said, hey, could you guys come and visit us? We would love to have you. And I think this was like 2 years before, like the first year. And I said, you know what, I'll definitely try to make it happen. And I'm really glad to be facilitating them. The other schools would be Movat Lavantil, Bigo Central, La Romaine Secondary, and Brazil Secondary. All of these schools would have reached out to us directly due to seeing the program or seeing different clips of what we're doing in the schools and literally saying, can you all bring this to Trinidad? So it is an amazing experience to conceptualize a program in Tobago, start on a very small scale and see it extrapolate across TNT.
Well, Venerick, thank you for joining us this morning. And please consider this an official invitation to come to the studio when you are in Trinidad. We would love to have you here. We'd love to even see the performances. So you are always welcome here. Just let us know when you'll be here and we'll set everything up. So thank you. And we look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. Thank you. No scruffy.
No scruffy. We must dance.
Thank
See
you.
how I got that? Thank you, Venerick. Have a beautiful day and keep dancing, and all the best to you and your initiative.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. All right. Just about 14 minutes before 7 o'clock. A quick break and we come back.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Barcelona drawing a game, not winning their first set of game. Worried, concerned?
Emotional damage is fun to see.
What a wonderful finish.
You see it? Stop. Let me come again. One more time.
Up for this exciting challenge and confident about your business? If you are, the 10-20 feature is just what you need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
There are a number of risk factors for heart disease, so a lot of attention has to be put towards preventive cardiology. What can we do to reduce the burden due to all these risk factors? Hypertension, diabetes, cholesterol, need to stop cigarette smoking, you gotta get people exercising.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
The digital landscape is moving at a breakneck pace, and for many creators and entrepreneurs, the question isn't just how to keep up, but how to lead. Well, we've entered an era where AI, social media, algorithms, and e-commerce aren't just tools. They are the new battlefield for relevance. Well, to help us navigate this shift, one of the Caribbean's most respected entertainment minds and the CEO of Question Mark Entertainment is launching a new kind of experience. Simon Batiste is the organizer behind Iconic, the Creator Leadership Summit Summit is curated, and it's a one-day intensive designed to move past the fluff and get into the real-world strategies of staying visible and successful today. And he's here with me now to talk all about why traditional conferences are no longer enough and what it takes to win in a world that refuses to slow down. Simon, welcome to the program.
Hey, a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you've spent decades, I know, managing. everybody knows Simon
I love how
Batiste.
she aged me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say how many decades.
Yeah.
I said decades. Managing, global talent and producing massive festivals. What was the specific aha moment that made you realize that we really needed a summit specifically for creator leadership rather than just another business conference?
Yeah, well, I think part of my travels is really where the aha moment came from. So I do a lot of traveling every year, and mainly to either do something related to the business I'm in. I'm involved in entertainment, or the opportunity to be able to connect with people, to discover how we can advance ourselves within this Caribbean landscape. And it was in Dubai I had the opportunity to sit down with men and women who were excelling on levels that way surpassed mine, and certainly were able to sit down and teach me about things that they were able to employ in their businesses, whether they were small, medium, or large, and how it worked. And I realized from these conversations and the interactions that we had and continue to have, that the idea of leadership as we propose today isn't any longer within the model of just attend a business conference. It's much more than that, right? It's the ability to mentor and to approach this process in a way that we understand how to communicate with one another and how to collaborate with one another. We've become so, I guess you could say, programmed in this world of business leadership, where I think we're focusing on the wrong things, and not really understanding that what's important is helping each other up versus, the crabs in a barrel mentality that we've adopted for so long.
Now, you said that this is not a traditional conference. So what makes this different? What is the atmosphere going to be like compared to a standard seminar?
Well, I think it's about being in the room and understanding that the conversations that happen there are really engineered in such a way that we can process what the next steps are and how we accept those challenges, right? Because this revolution is no different to the Industrial Revolution or any revolution that's come before it. It brings massive amounts of change, but also a great amount of fear. And so what we're trying to mitigate in the process of doing an event like this is, by being in the room, we're learning from those who have the capacity to teach us in a way that gets us to understand social media, digital marketing, AI, of course, right? Content creation, and the ability to use those as tools to help us, and how to actually mold these things into a winning formula, along with the people who are around us, because the conversations are different, right? So I am Generation X, and of course there's Generation Z, and those are two different conversations we're having, right? Because the way that I was taught and things that I learned, are way different, 2 or 3 decades later, right? And so now I have to understand how I speak in that language so that we can properly ascend together.
Yeah. So tell us about the summit itself now. You have some really powerful people in this summit and minds and talent as well. So tell us about what we can expect and when is this all taking place and how we can be a part of this.
Sure. So this leadership summit called Iconic takes place on this Friday, May the 8th.
As in tomorrow.
As in tomorrow, all right, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The way that it's set up, it's all online. So basically, you have to go on Island e-tickets. You could also find it on Eventbrite by simply typing in Iconic. And essentially there you can purchase your tickets to attend the show. I say it's a show, but but it's really not. It's a
All
convention.
habits die hard.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm so accustomed to putting on those.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, it's a convention, a leadership convention. Everyone, of course, is invited. And I think the difference is that I look at the space that we have. And so what has happened over time is that these very same speakers are involved in rooms that are developed here, in which I see the prices are like $2,000 or, $2,500, like, incredibly challenging for someone who is a small business person or just trying to get off the ground with their startup. So at $400, it's a very manageable price to learn from people who are all over the world, be it in Dubai, Portugal,
a star-studded lineup indeed. We just had the flyers on the screen for anyone who wanted to take a look. So so head across and get your tickets as well. Before we go, Simon, I have to ask you, what do you want people to take away from this, not show, but summit?
Well, I think what I want people to take away from the summit is, two things. One is the idea that this technology isn't meant to hurt us or harm us, right? We always have this feeling that something new that's coming on is going to take away our jobs or make us less as a human being. What is important is that we learn how to use these tools to advance ourselves and become better at our jobs, and more importantly, how to communicate with those around us so that we can elevate leadership. So those are the things that I hope that people can walk away with.
Yeah, so just a reminder, this takes place tomorrow, and it's from 9 to 2, I'm correct? And where can we get tickets once again?
Yes, so you can go onto Island e-tickets or Eventbrite, and you could type in Iconic. And should it be that, you don't want to just take on a leadership role, because I know it's Mother's Day weekend, we're also doing a comedy show on Sunday called Rumor Has It.
Oh, wow. You are doing everything at the same time. So there's where show comes in.
Yes.
That's why it's in your rotation, your vocabulary.
Yeah, I got that free plug. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you for being here, Simon. No problem. And the Iconic, the Leadership Summit that's coming up, be a part of this and take away so much good information and just, network with so many amazing people and listen to what they have to teach. Thank you for being here with us on the first hour of Trinidad and Tobago Today. Inside the next, we continue with Tobago Thursday. Also, a link up with Sweet 100.1 FM. Carrie's up next with the news.
Hello everyone, I'm Pastor Lisa Singh from Heavenly Grace Ministries in New York, and I want to take this opportunity to invite you to join me right here every Sunday morning at 6:30 a.m. It has been a fantastic 2026 so far, and the Word of God has just been unraveling in ways that we can only imagine. So I don't want you to miss out. Remember, every Sunday morning, 6:30 a.m. right here. Looking forward to being with you.
I'm Jamila Bannister, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays, 6 p.m., Tuesdays, 1:10 p.m.
Your news, anytime, anywhere. TTT News brings you the facts that matter most, on air and online. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Good morning, this is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. The government of Trinidad and Tobago has extended congratulations to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Bharatiya Janata Party, or BJP, following what it describes as a historic electoral victory in the Indian state of West Bengal on Monday. The government noted that the outcome reflects strong voter support and reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining close diplomatic ties with India. In a statement posted on social media platform X, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar said the victory marks the first time the BJP has secured the state, noting it as a reflection of the strength of India's democratic system and its evolving political landscape. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar also commended Prime Minister Modi's leadership and expressed anticipation for the upcoming visit of India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, as both nations continue to strengthen its long-standing partnership rooted in shared values and cooperation. Trinidad and Tobago is set to become the first Caribbean country to enact legislation specifically designed to protect victims of crime and formally guarantee their rights. This follows the introduction of the Victims' Rights Bill 2026 in the Senate on Wednesday by Minister of Justice Devesh Maharaj. Speaking during the second reading of the Victims' Rights Bill 2026, Minister Maharaj said the legislation represents a paradigm shift in how victims are treated within the justice system. The minister explained that key stakeholders will now be legally required to inform victims about the services available to them and keep them updated on legal proceedings against the accused, including bail applications.
You feel a little safe.
The Justice Minister said the bill is intended to place victims at the center of the justice system, ensuring their voices are heard and their needs properly addressed throughout the legal process.
Act, you have to inform the victim if bail has been granted, where, etc., so that he can take the necessary precautions.
Describing it as a landmark legislation for the region, he said the bill will restore dignity to victims and address the moral imbalance that presently exists within the legal system.
Tobago have been made to feel they do not matter to the legal system, that they are instruments of prosecution, not participants in justice, that their pain is procedurally inconvenient. This bill says otherwise. It says you matter. It says your voice will be heard before decisions are made about your case. It says you will know what is happening and why. It says if the system fails you have recourse.
In sport, Basic Basketball Academy opened their Lincoln Cripple Griffith North Zone Basketball League campaign with a hard-fought 76-73 win over Royalty Basketball Academy at the Woodbrook Youth Facility. Basic controlled much of the contest, but Royalty remained within striking distance and trailed by just 1 point at the end of the third quarter. In the decisive final stretch, Adam Salazar spearheaded the effort with 27 points, while Jamal Graham added 14, sealing the three-point victory. And that's what's making the news at this time. But when we come back, it's Trinidad and Tobago Today, hour number 2.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports with Nasira Mohammed, daily at 7 p.m.
Since 1972, one sound has been living in the heart of Trinidad and Tobago, the longest running radio station in the nation.
We're your holiday soundtrack, whether it's on your day off, long drives, or house lives. We are always sweet.
This is music with meaning, music with memories.
Music that feels like home.
And it's not just the songs, it's the voices you trust, personalities you've grown with.
Laughter that sounds familiar. This isn't just radio, it's tradition. It's memories. It's part of who we are.
Sweet 100.1 FM, the rhythm of our identity, part of your family.
Always 100, guide you on your way. Sweet 100, sweet 100.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
I'm Virmala Balkaran, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
Welcome back to hour number 2 on Trinidad and Tobago Today. It is Tobago Thursday. Well, as we approach Mother's Day this weekend, the conversation often centers on the tireless devotion of our moms. But behind the scenes, many mothers are navigating the delicate balance between nurturing their families and maintaining their own mental and emotional well-being. Now, this is a role that often leaves very little room for the person behind the title. And joining us today to discuss the essential practice of self-care and how mothers can reclaim their sense of self is counseling psychologist Rhonda Thompson Benjamin. Rhonda, welcome back to the show and thank you once again for being here.
Good morning to you and to all the TTT viewers and listeners here this morning.
It is so good to have you back on the show, Rhonda. Always such an engaging discussion and, you know, one that we need to have. We're on the way to Mother's Day and we're thinking a lot more about mothers. We should be doing that every single day. And of course, this is a discussion that expands all year long. But let's start with this, Rhonda. How does becoming a mother impact a woman's identity and sense of self? Can you tell us about that?
Well, first of all, let me say this. Motherhood can be a very beautiful experience. You know, it can bring a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose for many women. You know, and just like every other significant event or milestone in our lives, it requires adequate preparation. And when we talk about preparation, we are talking about the mental, emotional, financial, and even physical preparation. And although beautiful, without this preparation, motherhood can feel very overwhelming when challenges arise. Becoming a mother can really significantly shift someone's identity. So many women move from prioritizing their personal goals, careers, and relationships to primarily focusing on caregiving. And it can create that sense of tension when a woman feels as though her personal identity is overshadowed by their role as a mother. So, healthy adjustment often involves integrating motherhood into one's identity rather than just allowing it to be completely, just overshadowed in their lives. So, motherhood is part of your identity, not your entire identity.
Now, Rana, why do many mothers experience guilt when they prioritize their own needs? Sometimes they say, well, I have this to do and I have that to do. So I'm going to just forget about my self-care day or about, just taking care of my own mental health or reading a book, taking a break for myself. So sometimes they feel a little bit guilty. And why is that?
I think maternal guilt is often influenced by societal expectations. Society portrays mothers as self sacrificing and constantly available. So you may hear things like, she just has a baby, had a baby. Why is she outside? She's so selfish. She just had a baby. Why is she still going back out to work? And psychologically, guilt can even stem from those internal beliefs of what being a good mother is. And when mothers take time for themselves, they feel as though they are neglecting their children or their responsibilities. However, prioritizing self care actually strengthens a mother's capacity to care for herself and to her family. Because when you are emotionally, mentally, and physically well, it will improve, your patience, resilience, and even presence.
Yeah. Now, how can mothers manage feelings of being overwhelmed while balancing multiple responsibilities?
I think it starts with realistic expectations. If you are a first time mother, you would make some mistakes along the way. You would learn as you go, because motherhood requires a lot from you. So mothers should understand that their child or children, they do not need a perfect mother, but a well mother, a present mother. And they can benefit by prioritizing tasks, delegating responsibilities where possible, and recognizing that perfection is neither necessary or sustainable. So, again, establishing routines, asking for help, and practicing stress reduction techniques like mindfulness, which simply means staying in the present moment, not worrying about what is to come or, the past. Exercising or brief moments of rest can significantly reduce that emotional strain. So it's important for mothers to acknowledge their limits and allow themselves grace, especially in demanding seasons of motherhood and life.
Now, Rhonda, can you tell us, what does healthy self-care look like from a mental health perspective?
Okay, so self-care is not just about the occasional relaxation, but consistent practices that support emotional, physical, and psychological well-being. So although motherhood can be demanding, we know that, it takes some creativity so that you can get your self-care completed. So it may mean engaging in these practices while the children are at school or daycare, while they are engaged in an activity. It also includes adequate rest. And while it might be difficult, this must be prioritized because we know rest has a lot to do with our mental health. Another big one is to establish healthy boundaries. Of course, as a mother, there are things that you have to prioritize. So you may have to set limits for yourself, access social support, and even find ways to for emotional expression, which might look like journaling or finding activities that bring that personal enjoyment back into your life.
Well, there's also the question about support, Rhonda. So what role should partners, family members who are viewing this morning, and even communities play in supporting the mothers?
Mhm. So partners, family members, and community, they play a very important role in supporting mothers. They can share the responsibility and not just be passive, but be very active in providing emotional and practical support. So partners should actively participate in parenting and also household duties. Family members can also play an important role in childcare and even emotional encouragement of the mother. Communities can support by providing those supportive networks, resources, and even policies that recognize the demands of motherhood. Because when mothers feel supported, they are better able to care for themselves and even their families. So again, everyone has a role to play in ensuring that mothers live a happy, healthy life. And in order for that to happen, every member of the family, of the community, should play a part in the upbringing of children in our communities.
Well, Rhonda, before we go, what message do you have for mothers who are viewing this morning and they may be feeling a little bit overwhelmed, or they just want to be able to take care of themselves?
Yeah, I think I would tell mothers that, again, you will never be perfect. So have realistic expectations for yourself. It is important for you to understand the resources that are available to you. So if you are struggling in terms of self-care, how can I get this done? How can I be flexible? Who can I ask for support? Reach out for support. It is important to understand that you do not have to struggle alone. If you need psychological services, if you need to access therapy, do that for you. There are resources available to help you to lead a happy, healthy life.
Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Rhonda Thompson Benjamin. And your message always touches hearts and minds, and we know that it will continue to resonate also even after Mother's Day has passed. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, and let me say a happy Mother's Day in advance to all mothers here in Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. Thank you, Rhonda. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, and same to you all.
And Rhonda is right. A very early happy Mother's Day to all mothers. But, they say every day is Mother's Day. Treat your parents well every single day. And, life will fall into place for you. That's what my parents taught me growing up. Well, for everything that you saw here and more, follow us at TTT Live online. If you have a story idea, you have a press release, or you want to collaborate with us, we'd love to hear from you. So contact us today at ttt@ttt.co.tt and be a part of the conversation that's shaping our nation. All social media platforms are written on the screen for you here. You can collaborate with us through our sister stations, Talk City 91.1 FM, Sweet 100.1 FM, and Next 99.1 FM. Well, just an update for you on the hantavirus outbreak that we've been speaking about this week. So I did tell you that there was an outbreak aboard the MV Honduras, and now it continues to escalate. Things are moving forward as that ship has been quarantined. They were moving from Cape Verde, and I think they are sailing now towards Spain's Canary Island. They were stranded near Cape Verde for about 3 days. Now, one of the evacuees, a 65-year-old German man, had close contact with a German woman who died on board on May 2nd. And also, there is a British evacuee who is reportedly stable. So far, 3 deaths linked to the voyage are under investigation, with at least one confirmed hantavirus case among the deceased. Now, in case you missed it yesterday, we featured an update from Dr. Sanjeev Parasram, so you can head back to TTT Live online, and of course you can access that as well to learn all about the hantavirus. We take a break and we come back. The time now 7:18 on TNT Today.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
You are dearer to me than all the stars. So many wish but never reach. 'Cause when I'm falling and all the world seems dark, you help me find my peace. Oh, shun mi ba fishani. Oh, shun mi ba.
Well, once again, we're at summer's doorstep. The action is picking up with a variety of events that'll thrive alongside all of the popular attractions. Hello everyone, I'm Aidan St. Agath and welcome to Caribbean Passport TV.
All eyes will be on Antigua this summer for the 2026 Carnival celebrations, to which everyone is invited to feel the rhythm. With over 2 months of pre-events to warm things up, Antigua and Barbuda is event and activity driven. So if eco-adventure and marine life are among your passions, then Scooter Snorkeling is the tour company for you.
The Mother Church of the Anglican Diocese suffered significant damage during the earthquake of 2018. Efforts are underway to raise funds to restore this national heritage site. You are invited to make your donations with monthly deposits at any branch of the First Citizens Bank, account number 2696950, Marval Road Branch, in the name of the Incorporated Trustees of the Anglican Holy Trinity Cathedral Restoration.
Forecast. On Thursday, hazy and warm conditions will continue across both islands as a moderate concentration of Saharan dust lingers over the area, although concentrations are expected to slowly ease by Friday. Despite the dry air mass in place, daytime heating could still trigger a brief afternoon shower or two, but otherwise expect a mostly sunny and breezy day. At sea, lighter winds will keep conditions relatively calm in sheltered areas, moderate in open waters between 1.5 and 2 meters. And as always, here's a quick look at your tidal times for both Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, the on-the-job training program says it receives an average of 50 reports annually involving workplace bullying, sexual harassment, and other forms of mistreatment affecting trainees. Speaking before Joint Select Committee, Program Director Joanne David said the issues were observed between 2022 and 2025 among trainees placed at workplaces across the country. David explained that a psychologist was introduced on a pilot basis in 2022 to help address stress, anxiety, and workplace challenges faced by young people entering the workforce. However, that position no longer exists after the contract was not renewed. She added that some trainees are hesitant to report incidents out of fear, while officers responsible for monitoring trainees each oversee roughly 200 to 250 individuals, limiting consistent engagement. The program says serious matters can result in employees being removed from the system or cases being referred to police, although no charges are known to have been laid. Well, that's just an update for you. But now we continue with Tobago Thursday. And in the lead up to Mother's Day, we often hear about the magic of motherhood. but rarely do we talk about the makeup of it, the discipline testing moments, and the quiet decisions made behind closed doors. Well, joining us this morning is a woman who embodies the term multi-hyphenate. Siobhan Mejias is director and certified massage therapist at Soothing Touch Reset, a successful entrepreneur, an author, and a homeschooling mother. She does it all. Her daughter Jade is also a published author, having released her book called My Superhero at just 12 years old. Well, after a year spent traveling through Africa and Southeast Asia, Siobhan returned home with a perspective that is currently resonated with thousands online. A raw, honest look at the difference between being a busy mom and a consistent one. Siobhan, it is a pleasure to have you here this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning to all the viewers.
Good morning to you, Siobhan. Now, you wear so many hats, and just introducing you alone, it was a mouthful. From running a business to managing a young published author celebrity, how do you define the term mompreneur in your own life?
For me, it's not really about doing everything at the same time or perfectly, but it is about getting the knack of doing everything well when it is needed. So you have responsibility across multiple roles. It's really learning how to show up fully in each one when it is required. But there was a time when I blurred those lines. And if I'm being honest, I was physically present as a mom, but mentally I was still in business mode. But what I'm learning now is being a mompreneur is less about multitasking and more about intentional presence. I honestly do lean heavily on God for that, because without his guidance, it's easy to drift into a lot, but not actually what matters. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. Now, you've been very open about your daughter Jade's success with her book. So how did you help to guide her through that process of becoming a published author at such a young age?
Well, it was one thing to have the idea to do it, but then it was another thing to actually birth it. So I guided her by, firstly, I had to be the example. So she would have seen me following through on various initiatives, because outside of massage, I do pizza, I do a number of other things as well. And bringing it to completion, it was helping her to stay consistent. There were times, for example, during the illustration process when I myself wanted to quit because it was a bit challenging, but we stayed the course, and I helped her to, see what it is like. But if I'm honest, I wasn't doing it alone. I had an amazing sister, Camille, who really helped me through the process, and then other persons showed up as well. So I think that you have to recognize that you need help at some points, and it's no glory in taking all of this load, burning out just to say, well, I did it alone.
Yeah. And now you shared a very vulnerable post about realizing that being busy was sometimes a form of avoidance. So what was that specific moment or cost that made you realize that you weren't fully invested in the moments that matter to Jade?
Well, it wasn't one dramatic moment. It was more subtle than that. Maybe that's why it went on for so long. It was realizing that I was present, but not always engaged. I was sitting through something, but mentally elsewhere. And I was letting certain commitments slide because I did not feel like pushing through. The cost was in those small moments adding up, knowing that she could feel the difference between me being there and me actually showing up. And for me, that conviction did not just come from within, it came from God dealing with me about it. The quiet knowing that I could do better and I needed to do better.
Well, you just mentioned letting extracurricular activities slide because it was easier. So why do you think mothers, especially those who are self-employed, fall into the trap of choosing what is convenient over what is necessary?
Because self-employment can blur the structure if you're not careful. And when you do not have fixed hours or external accountability, it's easy to move things around, delay, or justify, which I used to do a lot, not following through. So you have this valid reason why you didn't follow through, especially when you're already carrying a lot. And sometimes when you're so busy, you really feel productive enough to excuse that inconsistency because you do see results. But the truth is that flexibility without the discipline can become avoidance, which is what happened with me. And I had to be honest with myself about that. That's exactly why I wrote the post as well. Sometimes when you share, it holds you accountable as well.
Yeah, now you and Jade spent 7 months in Africa, and I believe you also traveled through Thailand and Cambodia in 2025. Now, how did witnessing mothers in those different cultures shift your understanding of parental duty and even consistency?
Witnessing those moms, what stood out to me was that their level of consistency without negotiation, because I like to negotiate with my own self when I'm making excuses or being inconsistent. I like doing that before. But having that year of travel, especially in, both places, but more so in Ghana, seeing these moms waking up, 3 a.m., doing what needed to be done, early mornings, long days, not because they liked it, obviously, but because they had no choice. It was necessary. But they didn't, it seemed to me like it wasn't a constant internal debate about whether they felt like it, which was my case. It made me realize that I had more capacity than I was using, and I was making excuses, not in a harsh way to myself, but more like in a clarifying way. And I also saw that we are meant to take responsibility for what we have been given. And so it shifted parenting for me from being emotion-led to more decision-led.
Now, you called 2025 a year of rest. For a high achiever like yourself, how difficult was it to stop doing and to start observing?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a complete rest. It was more a rest from the physical reset massage experience, that unique off massage work that I do, that I recently started back to do here. But it was more like a space to allow me to birth more of my gifts, tap into them. While I was in Ghana, I actually wrote an ebook about being planted and not buried. And that came out of the very experience I had there when I first got there. Everything that could have gone wrong felt like it did go wrong. And I felt out of place. I questioned if I made a mistake going there. I wanted to come back home. But I had already committed, and deeper than that, I had prayed before I went. So I knew, well, this is where I should be. There was one night in particular when I was ready to leave. The lights were gone again because there were a lot of current outages, right? The mosquitoes were there. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to cut my losses and I'm going back home. And then Jade came to my room. She had her own room on the top. And she said, Mom, I know you want to go home and I want to go home too. But I don't think that's what God wants. And in that moment, I just knew I needed to stay. And, something interesting happened after I stayed, after that intense desire to quit. It seemed as though everything went from the wilderness into the promised land. Everything shifted. I met incredible people. I even met our Trinidad and Tobago counselor. I had meaningful connections. So what started off difficult became something beautiful. And out of that experience, that book, Planted, Not Buried, was birthed. So for me, the season was not about doing nothing. When I say rest, it was about like being redirected, and God used it to slow me down, but also to draw out other things that were inside of me. I birthed a shift talk and a number of other things while I was there.
Well, thank you for sharing all these experiences with us, and Jade. They're so beautiful and they resonate with us this morning. But I want to ask you one more question. With Mother's Day now approaching, what is your message to the mom who feels like, she's failing because she isn't doing the hard things perfectly right now?
I would say, Mom, you do not need to do it perfectly. You need to do it honestly. I would like if you can avoid the temptation to label yourself as failing when you're actually just in a moment of awareness, because in order to think you are failing, you have to be first aware that something is going wrong. So try to shift it to a positive outlook, like I'm not failing, I'm becoming aware. And if you can see where you've been inconsistent, then that's not failure, it's an opportunity to change it, right? With God's help, you can shift. You do not have to rely on willpower alone. It can also help to have a non-judgmental accountability partner. That's my aunt for me here in Tobago. Someone who wouldn't judge you when you go wrong, someone who would understand that change is a process and they would just help to guide you back. And finally, I would say start small, choose one area, follow through. Consistency is something that takes time, so take your time with it.
Well, thank you very much, and a very happy Mother's Day in advance to you, Siobhan. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Same to you and all of the mothers viewing as well. Thank you for having me this morning.
All right, have a good day, and a good day to you and Jade. Also, tell Jade hello for us.
Okay, bye.
All right, take care. All right, the time now 7:34. Early Mother's Day greetings for everyone. Good morning to all of you streaming us live on YouTube and Facebook. To all the moms who are there, a very special happy Mother's Day to you. Take a break and come back.
Since 1972, one sound has been living in the heart of Trinidad and Tobago, the longest running radio station in the nation.
We're your holiday soundtrack, whether it's on your day off, long drives, or house limes. We are always sweet.
This is music with meaning, music with memories.
Music that feels like home.
And it's not just the songs, it's the voices you trust, personalities you've grown with.
Laughter that sounds familiar. This isn't just radio, it's tradition. It's memories. It's part of who we are.
Sweet 100.1 FM, the rhythm of our identity, part of your family.
Always 100, guide you on your way. Sweet 100, sweet 100.
What if possibility was only the beginning? Welcome to Limitless, a journey where ideas become action and action becomes impact. From breaking barriers and challenging misconceptions to designing with dignity and driving innovation with heart. This series explores how inclusion is moving from concept to community in Trinidad and Tobago. Across each episode, we meet the change makers and everyday leaders turning challenges into opportunity, building real solutions that change real lives, from possibility to impact. This is Limitless.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's Terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world on Super Z, or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forest alongside our robot pals from Bugspot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. It's fun-filled adventure with Terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
Take a quick moment now to connect with our friends over on Sweet 100.1 FM. Of course, this is where we bridge that space between television and radio and just check in to see what's happening on the other side. This is The Link Up.
Night and day.
Today, good morning.
Sweet.
This is The Link Up with Sweet 100.1 FM.
Good morning, Nicholas Hoyt. How are you?
Good morning, Virmala. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. A bit hungry. For some reason, I'm hungry this morning, and I usually don't feel as hungry at this time.
Well, you probably what time you ate last night?
That's what I was just going to tell you.
Yesterday afternoon.
When you eat late, you get hungry earlier. It's very strange. Listen, I have this. It's a weird question. You know, when you're on air or you have a guest next to you, do you get the grumbles if you're a little bit hungry, and you have to say, "Oops, I'm sorry. I apologize for my stomach." Has that happened to you?
It happens more often than you think. Way more often than you think. And more often than I would like to happen.
So how do you come back from that? What do you say?
So usually, you say, "Excuse me," and I haven't eaten just yet, so and most times they understand you're hungry. Or some people might even say, "Whoa, you have to eat something, boy, or you should drink some tea." So usually what I do in the morning, I have some tea, some green tea or something like that. So, and it tends to quell it a bit.
Really? Well, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
Early mornings here, there's a good chance that the guest as well has a grumbling tummy. So you never really know. You never really know whose tummy is actually grumbling. So how's the shift been going? I noticed that you're solo today. We miss Mark.
Solo today. Mark has the day off today. And shift is going well. We're getting ready to wrap up our Mother's Day promotion, our Mom Sweet Moments, where we've been asking our callers to call in and give us moments about their mom. And they qualify for the grand prize, which is going to be drawn today. So one mom is going to win lovely prizes, about 10 prizes, pooled up into one big, amazing prize. So we're doing it for mom this week. Get ready for Mother's Day this weekend. So happy Mother's Day in advance to all your viewers as well, because this is the last time I'm going to see you for the week.
For the weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all your viewers. I know you have a lot of the moms who are always plugged in. I remember that from our time. Also, this gives me deja vu. I feel like we are back in 2014 doing this on air. It was just me and Nicholas sitting there having a conversation. Wow, how have things come full circle?
Great times. Yeah. Full circle moment. You passing through this space and being here, training, being here with us, being on Next 99, doing so much in the space, and then, venturing on to do other things in the industry, and then full circle, you're back here, and we're having this moment this morning.
Yeah, we're linking up on Thursdays, and we get to do this again. Nick, I also have to ask you, what's your favorite song for, I would say, this week, maybe this month? What's the new song? I know last time you gave me an update, so I forgot what that song was.
This week, so this week I'm throwing it back because the Michael movie is dominating the box office, and the songs have been trending. So we have been going back and listening to songs that he would have done back in the day. So our Human Nature is my song for the week.
I love Earth Song, the Earth Song. It is my favorite.
That is a good one.
Yeah, that one always gives me goosebumps and tears, and especially when you apply it to everything happening in today's world, it is a very profound song. Well, that's nice. So did you see the movie?
Not yet. Not yet.
What?
But I plan to. I plan to.
I feel like you're saving that experience for a very special time.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the last time we spoke with you, Mark actually said that his favorite song was a Vibes Cartel song. Am I correct?
Yes, it was a Vibes Cartel, and Shensia had a song. Yeah.
That's a strange one.
He really likes that blend.
That's a strange one.
I'm not sure if he's still on it, but that was his song for last week.
Yeah, well, actually, earlier on when we were testing the audio, we heard a Thames song that you were playing. I think it was maybe right before 6 o'clock, and it just, it took me back, and I realized it's been a while since I really listened to some good music. It's just been news and current affairs and everything in that realm. Yeah. Well, we're so glad to have you.
And this morning, so I referenced a Robin Thicke and Shaggy song called Lovely, where they sampled Bill Withers' Lovely Day. And then there was a 1993 sample of that song as well. So we have some songs today that we hear. It's from yesteryear,
yes,
but they remake it and it's done today. So a song from 77, and we're hearing elements of that song today, which is so lovely. So I played that song. I believe it's in earlier this hour. Really great song. That's a nice one too. You should check out.
Apart from the sampling, TikTok and social media has really changed the way that we consume music. So many songs. I remember, I think it was that Iman Beck song. Was it Roses? That was one that everyone learned from trends on TikTok. And then we realized this was an actual song that was not very new, but it was just brought back because of it was an audio on TikTok. So that's something we must discuss, a little bit more later on. But thank you for now, Nicholas, for being here with us. We look forward to seeing you again next Thursday.
Thank you so much, Virmala. Have a great day.
All right, and look out for the tummy grumbles. Thank you, Nicholas Hoyt. And that was the link up on Sweet 100.1 FM.
Night and day.
Today, good morning.
Sweet.
This is the link up with Sweet 100.1 FM.
Whatever the skies bring, stay prepared with TTT Weather. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's terrific Tune Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world from Super Z. Or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forests alongside our robot pals from Bugs Bot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. Catch terrific Tune Time weekdays at 4:15 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. It's fun-filled adventure with terrific Tune Time right here on TTT.
That time of the year again, my friends. Feel it in the air. Football, football, football. It's back and everyone's locked in. This is Richard Torpedo Thompson and my Trinidad and Tobago people. I'll stay this straight. Fans make the game. Cheers, chants, passion. That's the heartbeat of football. There's only one 12th man that really brings the energy. That's Andre Errol Batiste on TTT. Every Thursday on TTT. Don't miss it.
For 70 years, it has stood as a sanctuary of stories and a cornerstone of community life in one of Tobago's most picturesque villages. From the first page turned in 1956 to the digital age of 2026, the Charlottesville Branch Library has evolved alongside the people it serves. This Monday, the celebration heads to the beachfront for a massive bonfire to mark this platinum anniversary. Joining me now to discuss the library's enduring legacy and its vibrant future is the librarian in charge at Charlottesville, Miss Naya Dick. Good morning, Naya, and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
I love your background. It is so refreshing.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much.
I am jealous. You get to work in such a cool place. I love the library, and I know that you spend all your days there. So 70 years of reading and community, Naya, community growth especially. How does it feel to be at the helm of the Charlottesville Branch Library during such a historic platinum milestone?
Well, it is a profound honor to lead this institution during this 70th anniversary, a milestone that represents 7 decades. You know, in biblical 70, it is a good number for life. So we have dedicated service and the promotion of literacy in East Tobago. Under our team, Turning Pages, Shaping Lives, we are celebrating not just the passage of time, but a continuous journey of reading and literacy and the many stories that has shaped this community since 1956.
Now, looking back at the library's history since 1956, as you said, what are some of the most significant ways the facility has changed to meet the needs of the village, Naya?
Right, we have physically grown. We have moved from a 760 square foot totem arrangement in the rented variety store. In 1995, we got this custom built 6.2 square feet facility designed by William Poole. Also increased our resources from 2,000 to 15,300 volumes. Technology, we've moved from basic manual services to the World Wide Web through computerization, ensuring our residents remain connected to global knowledge. School support, we have facilitated class visits, pay visits to schools such as the preschool and the primary school, and we also do outreach to other schools in our neighboring environs. We have the women's group who has the opportunity in the community to display their creativity in craft activities such as embroidery, bag making, skirt drafting. We also acquired a sewing machine just to facilitate these things, and as well as digital literacy for the seniors to give them, you know, a time to be online or to be in the know where technology is concerned, just to know, to be a little more independent, to use their smartphone, etc.
Now, Naya, on Monday, May 11th, I know that you're taking the celebration to the bandstand. So what can the public expect from the celebrations? Tell us about the entertainment that will be there, the local culture elements.
Right. So we will start with a torch run at 5 p.m. and that will come from Flagstaff straight down to the old building that we had at the beachfront. And then we will make a trek straight to the new building and then to the bandstand, where we will light the bonfire, as well as we will put on a cultural show with talents from the village. So we have song, we have dance, we have reflections, and all these things are put on by the villagers and those who would have committed to our service throughout the years.
And I know you've only been there for about 18 months, but during your time as librarian in charge, is there a particular story, any interaction with a resident that truly highlights why this library is so essential?
Well, it's a close-knit community, and the residents see the library as a safe and trusted space where people feel empowered and valued. We have villagers who would just say the library was their hub. The library was their mainstay. The library is the place that they get all the information. The library, you could come and sit down and get a newspaper, even if it's not available. You know, you still get the technology, you still get the improvement of technology, but you still get what is traditional and essential being Charlottesville. So you could come into here and be quiet You can read books, you can peruse magazines, you can we have an auditorium, an Atamore auditorium that you could have a meeting, you could host things, you could do whatever that is service oriented and library oriented, literacy oriented in this space. So it's a good thing to be, it's a good place to be, and it is the place to be.
Now, can you briefly tell us a little bit about the team behind the scenes, the people who keep this branch running day to day? You know, a library is only as strong as its people, right?
Right, yes. Our team includes a dedicated staff from both Charlottesville and Scarborough. We actually have members from the community working here as our staff. We stand on the shoulders of giants of Atamore, the former custodian and library assistant, who was the chief cook and bottle washer for decades. He would have held down the fort for quite a while by himself. And that is hard work and persistence and tenacity and dedication and passion for library services, often spending long hours to ensure our services meet national standards. So we are collective. We are a group from Scarborough as well as Charlottesville and environs, and we are thankful to God for that.
Now, Naya, what's your vision for the library going forward?
My vision for the library going forward, I really would hope that this place be a place to visit. When you come to Charlottesville is like a visitor's paradise. So once you come to Tobago, you want to come to Charlottesville and drive. So when you come to Charlottesville, you must come to the library, because the library must be that place, the place where you could find things that you can't find anywhere else, the place where you could find a book that, wow, you have this, you know. And I just want it to be able to, we want to mirror what is new, all the trends, AI, we want to mirror technology, we want to mirror all of that with the book, the collection, what we have in store, what we have, and you must hold on to it, and it must all balance for what we should bring forward to the community from outside, from external, but we also must find the needs of the community. So we must combine them both to do great things for the villagers and all those who visit the library.
Now, before we go, can you just tell us quickly about the bonfire that's happening? If we can attend this bonfire, is it open to the public?
Yes, it is open to the public. It's free, and you come up and you experience the cultural items as well as the food. We have everything free for you on that day, and we are looking forward to celebrate our 70th anniversary, turning pages, shaping lives, 70 years of community spirit.
Thank you very much, Naya, for joining us, and all the best, and have a great time at the bonfire. Have a great day as well.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Just a few seconds before we head to the news. Thank you for joining us today on Trinidad and Tobago Today. See you tomorrow, where we do this all over again, 6 to 8. Thanks to all our guests joining us this morning from Tobago on Tobago Thursday. Also, thank you so much to Nicholas Hoyt at Sweet 100.1 FM. Join us tomorrow for another link up with Next 99.1 FM. Remember our social media channels. You can find all the information that you need. Also, snippets from the show and the full interviews live at TTT Live Online. And send us an email at tttoday@ttt.co.tt if you want to be a part of everything happening on the show. Here's where we say goodbye. See you tomorrow, 6 to 8. Carrie's up next with a major network news. Bye-bye.
Barcelona drawing the game, not winning their first set of game. Worried, concerned?
Emotional damage is his fantasy.
What a wonderful finish! Corner
You're seeing something. Come again, one more time.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world from Super Z. Or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forests alongside our robot pals from Bugs Bot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. Catch terrific Toon Time weekdays at 4:15 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. It's fun-filled adventure with terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
When it matters, we're there, reporting the news as it happens, because your world can't wait. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Good morning, this is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. The Tobago jet ski operators have formed a new entity in the wake of the tragic incident that took the life of a 7-year-old girl last month. President of the Tobago Water and Trail Association, or TWTA, Ricardo Alfred, said the decision to form the entity came before the tragic incident.
Decided what we need to come together and form this group to really bring some level of policy. If they don't have it, if we have rogue members, we will report these people directly to the authorities and have their jet skis or whatever removed, because you can't operate if you don't have it.
Mr. Alfred said the TWTA will report any unauthorized or non-compliant operators to the relevant authorities for appropriate action. He emphasized that the association remains committed to operating within the law and in accordance with the national regulations governing marine activity. He added that the body has met and formally taken the decision not to operate at Pigeon Point or at any other location designated as a marine park.
We have decided to respect the boundaries and to stay out of the marine park, I know that the public is very angry. I know that there's a lot of concern. So we are staying out of the park completely. We will respect the wishes and stay out of the park completely. We will ply our trade elsewhere so that the public is able to have more trust because they have to see some change.
According to Mr. Alfred, the TWTA will continue to engage with stakeholders and regulators to ensure its operations are conducted responsibly and in the best interest of both the environment and the public. In other news, amid rapid advances in artificial intelligence and a steadily more competitive job market, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, Professor Prakash Prasad, says skills training must be treated as a national priority. Speaking at the award ceremony for UTT's Renewable Rivalry Competition on Wednesday at the Chaguanas campus, the minister underscored the need for greater emphasis on skills training.
Look at the situation worldwide. Young people are having difficulty getting jobs worldwide, not only Trinidad and Tobago, worldwide. We hear about AI continuously. In AI, it's billions of dollars, over $500 billion in some countries being spent on AI. And you know what is the key back? What is the impediment to implementing AI? The carpenters, the plumbers, the electricians. Because we need to build the sort of infrastructure for it.
Acting President of UTT, Professor Rian Maharaj, said the university is continuing its efforts to ensure students are well equipped to explore and pursue renewable energy education.
We have trained master trainers, teachers, and community development officers, equipping them with the knowledge and tools to deliver content in renewable energy, energy efficiency, and environmental responsibility. We have expanded this effort to reach over 250 teachers across multiple cohorts and engage more than 1,200 students across 69 schools.
Executive Chairman of UTT, Professor Selwyn Cudjoe, commended both students and teachers for their creativity and innovation in addressing challenges related to sustainable energy. In sport, Paris Saint-Germain have booked their place in the UEFA Champions League final for the second consecutive year. The defending champions edged Bayern Munich in a thrilling second leg at the Allianz Arena, though the victory was sealed only after a tense finale that tested their nerve. Ousmane Dembele got PSG off to the perfect start, scoring inside 2 minutes. Bayern battled back with Harry Kane pulling one back in the 94th minute to set up a nervy finish, but Luis Enrique's men held firm. PSG go through 6-5 on aggregate and will face Arsenal in the final on May 30th in Budapest, Hungary. And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. From the entire team here, have a great day.
This is TTT. Live for local.
Discover calligraphy and the charm of it all. Hello, everyone. I am pleased